Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic week. Well, I really didn't want to have to cover this story until all the facts came out, but some recent developments happened and I'm getting a ton and a ton of requests asking me to make comments on it and perhaps reach out to a lawyer, which I've done. I've reached out to some lawyer friends of mine who often help me out with some of these situations to see the actual legal aspects. And so we're going to have to delve into this just at least one more time. Once again, I just want to state I completely commiserate with this family. No one knows how you will ever react in your feelings going through a kind of a situation like this. I cannot fathom going through their situation right now. No one knows exactly how you will react in any situation. In an emergency, if there's a fire in your house, everyone says, oh, well, I would get people and I would rush out and I would rescue people. No one knows, you don't know how you're going to react until you actually live through it. It is completely different. I've seen it, I've lived through it myself. I know exactly, I used to be a first aid responder as well. I've seen huge head injuries where the head was cracked open and blood and things were everywhere and people around just froze. And a few people reacted and he said, you just don't know, you just do not know. So no one can put themselves in these people's place. And so I am not saying this at all with any disrespect whatsoever. I do not know. I think I may do exactly what they're doing. So I'm not I don't want to send any ill feelings towards this family at all. I'm just trying to explain the situation from both sides of the coin, if you know what I mean. So first off, we all heard the reports. Grandfather was dangling the child out through the open window. Then it came back saying no, that he wasn't doing that. He actually sat the child down on the railing thinking there was glass through the whole wall and stepped away and the child fell through. And here's where a lot of the legal issues come through. The argument for the lawyers is going to be that Royal Caribbean did not have the proper safety precautions. There was no signs. They did not have the open window blocked off. Why was there an open window on the 11th floor of a cruise ship? Etc., etc. Their argument has to be, according to my friends the lawyers, that it is reasonable to assume that these safety precautions would be there. But then they say the argument goes from the cruise line's point of view. And their point of view was, who would logically expect somebody to put their child near an open window up on a railing and leave them unattended? And even if the excuse is, I thought the windows were closed, I thought it was safe, why did you lift a child and set them up on a railing over the floor, a 1.5-year-old, and then step away? There's still a chance for that child to fall and injure themselves. But just because the child went and it went to the extreme doesn't negate the fact that you put the child originally in danger by your actions. And this is what the lawyers are saying is going to be the defense. And that's only if everything that the grandfather is saying is true. If it comes back that the grandfather was anywhere near the window with the child, then it would become negligence or worse. And so until that film footage comes back, and Royal Caribbean has released all the closed circuit TV to the San Juan police and investigating. They are doing all the investigation and they're looking at it from multiple angles. They said they're looking at cruise negligence, they're looking at it as just possibly a bad accident, they're looking at it as neglect from the grandfather's point of view. So there's charges could go in any direction. But as I talked to the lawyers, they said it's going to be very, very hard to prove wrongdoing here, because the onus becomes on the family, and that one argument of who would logically expect them to put their child up on a railing in the first place comes into effect. And the family always says, well, she goes to her brother's hockey games and she bangs on her glass and that's what she likes to do. Okay, but the pictures they show of her doing that, the glass is on the ground and she's standing on ground. She's not sitting on a railing by herself. There's a problem there. That could be the downfall of this whole case. And the warning here is, I know you're looking for answers and you're saying you don't want anyone else to have to ever go through this. Well, just this whole case in itself will probably bring about some changes. So that's kind of going to be covered. Many people have heard this story and will remember it whenever they're traveling with their child on this. So this whole lawsuit to save other people really isn't really the issue. Putting onus and blame on Royal Caribbean seems to be the issue. And again, I can't read their minds, but if, I know they think they're doing right for everybody, but when the reality hits, the do right for everybody's kind of already happened and kind of already being looked at. So to continue the lawsuit, my biggest fear for this family is that they've gone through horrible, horrible tragedy. And now they could end up with a huge financial debt because lawyers aren't free. And there is a high possibility. Picture this, they're an individual family suing a billion-dollar corporation. Who can litigate the longest? Who has lawyers on staff 24/7? The big company. That's why it's hard to sue huge companies. It does happen. Royal Caribbean has been sued before. Other cruise lines have been sued before, but it's usually on something very provable, very substantial as huge cause. You caused this injury because of this. Something fell on somebody on the cruise ship. Glass broke open into person, this kind of thing. The ride broke and somebody fell from the ride and hurt themselves. Those are easy to prove. This one, there's a lot more nuances involved, and I just want to say I hope the family gets through this and finds at least some peace and resolution in this. This is, like I said, it's the worst story I've ever had to cover on this channel. And I'm just trying to do it, as I said, on both sides of the coin. And I think there's probably a little bit of blame to go around on both sides. But whether or not that blame can be actually monetized in a court of law and doesn't end up costing you way more just personal finance and personal hardship, I don't know. I hope they wait to sue until the video evidence comes out and everything is seen before they at least go forward with that. If they start going forward with the lawsuit and depositions and stuff like that, the costs start rising exponentially, and it can be a mess, and it may be too late to turn back. Well, there you go. That's what some lawyer friends of mine saying. This is going to be the family stance, and then the lawyers will, fight back with, well, why did you put her up there to begin with? Well, I thought there was glass here. Yeah, but why did you put her up on a railing? Why did you set her by herself on the railing? And if the grandfather comes back and says, oh no, I was holding her. Well, if you were holding her by the railing and you let her go, it's your negligence. You see how hard it gets? It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. Let me know what you guys think down below. Do you think they're right for suing Royal Caribbean? Do you think it's grief kind of talking? Do you think, I don't know, I'm worried for the family. Going through day after day, months and months and months of litigation, reliving this over and over and over again. How do you get over this with that happening? How do you find closure when you're reliving it all the time? And then at the end, if you don't win and you're stuck with thousands and thousands of dollars of legal bills besides this, it can just be devastating. So I hope them the best. I really do. And I hope they can find closure. Let me know what you guys think down below. I hope you appreciate this news update. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. You want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world, hit that subscribe button. Till next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.